and welcome back to the Glow Up Girl podcast. I am Kyra Mitchell-Lewis, and today I am joined by Shai Kurji. She is a fulfillment coach and NLP practitioner. Now, we'll let her tell us what that means because I don't know what that means, but it tells me that she's super smart and that she is someone who can definitely give us some advice and information that's going to help us. So, Shai, welcome to the Glow Up Girl podcast.
Thank you, Kyra. Thank you for having me here. I'm really pleased to be on your podcast. Fulfillment coach, it's a tricky one. A lot of people don't know right away what it means, but really why I came up with that title for myself is because first of all, coaching is my passion, but what I want to be coaching women towards is feeling more fulfilled. And so it just felt like the best fit for me. Yes. I'm also an NLP practitioner, which is a neuro-linguistic practitioner. So I work a lot with language and behavior and the two combined and how your brain works really, and help women tie the two together so that they're using their mindset to get to where they want to be to feel more fulfilled.
That is fantastic. And see, guys, I told you that she was really smart. No, that is awesome. And you are actually here. We're going to be discussing a topic of, being from fearful to fulfilled. And it's really like, don't settle. Like, this is, you can choose and get the life that you want. So before we dig into how you help women achieve that, please go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, my story is a little bit all over the place because I was born and brought up in Nairobi in Kenya. And I lived there up until I was 18 and then went to the UK for university where I studied psychology, ended up hating it. So actually decided to change what I was studying and I went into business instead. And now I'm currently in the UK. I live in London and I've been here for about 6 years. But a little bit about my story in terms of early life, I went through a lot of bullying when I was growing up in Kenya. So throughout school, I was bullied a lot, but there was something in me that just told me to keep my chin up. I always had this very positive attitude towards life. And it kept me going. And then after university, when I decided to drop out of my psychology degree because I just really was not enjoying it, I went through a really bad slump. And I remember being back home in Kenya, feeling really low about myself and my self-esteem. But again, even though I was in that place where I was feeling really depressed, there was something in me. There was this voice inside my head that kept telling me, it's going to be okay, Shai, you'll be fine. Pick yourself up and let's go for it. And through some therapy and some help from my parents and that inner voice, which I wasn't fully aware of yet, I picked myself up and moved to London, started a new adventure, and started in the corporate world, actually. But in my free time, I was doing a lot of reading and a lot of learning about behavior because it was still my interest. And I found coaching and became more and more interested in it and got certified whilst I was still working full time. And now I have my own coaching business. And the reason I give you a little bit of that background is because the type of coaching that I do now has a lot to do with my history, where realizing that I had this inner voice and that it had such a huge impact on me and how I led my life was something that I wanted to teach other women to do too. So that's why I am where I am now. And I love what I'm doing.
No, that's a really great story. And thank you so much for being transparent with your story. Because I think that is so important. I mean, people, I feel like you just definitely can connect to someone when you know that they've gone through something that's similar. And it's such a great opportunity when people see someone like you, like, look at where she is today. Like, you're resilient and you're strong. And it has a lot to do, I'm glad you said that. It has a lot to do with your mindset.
Yeah.
And, and you're not one to like let something get you down. You're going to keep pushing through it. And that's so important, especially for women.
Yeah. And just to add to that, actually, now that you say, you look and you're seeing like a strong, resilient person, I've built that, and women can build that. It's an exercise, it's a muscle, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so even though I might look like this on the outside, I'm still human, I'm still a woman, I'm going to have my off days. And I think it's
Right.
really important that people know that too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. Definitely. So let's talk about Compass Coaching, which
Yeah.
is your business, and how you help women to live in their truth in order to shift from fearful to fulfilled.
So Compass Coaching is my baby. Actually, my partner came up with the name for it because we were talking about helping women find direction, and the name Compass just came to him, and I loved it.
Mm-hmm.
And so how I help women find a direction towards feeling more fulfilled is mainly through a lot of mindset work. So when I work with women, I tend to focus in on particularly what's going on internally. What is causing you to talk to yourself the way you talk to yourself? By the way, a lot of women don't realize that they talk to themselves in a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
They don't realize that they have this inner voice. And so the first part of it is starting to understand and become aware of that. Are you talking to yourself in a negative or a positive way? Are you being your cheerleader? And once we sort of establish where you're at, we figure out where that's coming from. If there's something getting in the way, what are the beliefs that that's stemming from? And then how can we put in place mindset exercises that you can use to overcome whatever is getting in your way, your limiting beliefs? And two huge byproducts of this work is finding clarity with what it is that you want to do and who you see yourself as and who you want to become, and also building confidence. So through all this work, you organically start to feel more confident about yourself because you start learning who you are and where you want to go in life.
Mm-hmm.
And you start equipping yourself with the tools, particularly the language, how you speak to yourself to help you get there.
Yeah. No, I think that's great because I think I'm so glad that you're here and you're talking about this because negative self-talk and positive self-talk, are very important, especially to women. And I think a lot of times women don't realize that we're more likely to let that negative self-talk, those things where you make that one mistake and you're like, oh my God, you made that one mistake. I can't believe it. You're so dumb, girl. Why'd you do that? And it's like there's not enough celebration of even the little things. Like that's one of the things I was talking to my coach about recently is like celebrating the small things. It's like, oh, wow, like I've kicked butt, over the last whatever, 2 months, and I'm going to pat myself on the back. But I think it is important for people to understand and women to understand that you have to be intentional about these things. And you don't just wake up in a good mood and feeling great about yourself. I mean, I'm in my 40s and I still get zits like I'm a teenager. So there are days when I would, whose face is this? And where, like what is going on? And so, but even something that small, you have to be able to say, but you know what? I mean, this won't be here forever, girl. It's your inner beauty that shine. You have to be intentional about how you speak to yourself. And I think that women, I think sometimes we forget that.
I love the two words you use, celebration and being intentional, because when you use the word being positive with some people, it can feel a little bit like I'm forcing it. But actually, it's not just about being positive for the sake of being positive. It's making sure that you're not speaking to yourself in a way that you're putting yourself down, and speaking to yourself in a way where you're realizing what your worth is, right?
Yeah. So as far as your programs, what type of women do you normally, what type of women do you normally work with or coach?
So the type of women that I would normally coach are women that I know want to make a change in their life. With coaching, it is one of those things where yes, I'm here to support you and give you the tools that you're going to need along the way, but the work is up to you. So the women that I tend to work with are ambitious and they know they want change in their life and they're ready for that change. So yeah, I'm working with people on that cusp, the women who are on that cusp of, oh, hold on, something's going on here and I really need to change it and I'm determined to change it.
Yeah. Now, what do you say? What advice would you give to? I'm putting you on the spot here, but I'm going. I'm going to ask because you see a lot of people going through life and they want to do things like therapy or they do things like coaching, but they never quite take the step to do it. And I mean, I have a therapist and I have a coach, so and I can't imagine, like, it is the best investment. Those are the best investments I could have ever made in myself. Because instead of you like talking your friend's ears off or your significant other's ear, or just, you are talking to people who are truly like unbiased and they don't know, they don't know the people you're talking about. So it's like, what would you say to those people that are on that cusp of like, I want to take the leap, but I don't know, if I'm ready, or a lot of people feel like they have to be at a certain point in order to begin.
Yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about because I've had this conversation with so many women. When you know that there needs to be change in your life, I think it's really important to understand that you're never really truly going to feel ready to make that change, right?
Right.
I think a lot of women wait for things to fall into place and wait for the right time, wait for things to be perfect. But the real point is that you're invited to show up being imperfect, right? But we're here to celebrate you being imperfect. So I think the first thing is to understand that you're not fully going to be ready, and it's never going to be a perfect enough time, or the ducks are all lined up in a row.
Exactly.
And I think the second thing is to also always remember that whilst you might have a really strong support system around you, when you go to a therapist or a coach, not only are they unbiased, but I mean, you would probably know this through your own experience. As a coach, my job is to, at the beginning of that session, clear my mind completely so that I'm creating space for you and pushing you. The accountability piece is huge.
Yes.
Having someone to be accountable to is a life changer. And it's changed my life when I've been coached too.
Right. No, I love that. And thank you for, just giving some steps that can be taken, because I do think, it's really unfortunate that women have been made to feel like we have to be in this perfect place or all the things have to be lined up. Now, I'm the complete opposite as it relates to anything. And like personally for me, like even starting Glow Up Girl, like, I mean, there was a journey to it. Now with this podcast, it was just, I heard it said to me, like, start a podcast. And I was like, me? And so I could have waited, I could have just like, oh no, I got to do all the research. I got to find all the right equipment. And, and I talk about this often on this show and with people that I'm like, oh my God, the first one was a disaster. Like I sounded terrible. I was recording on a free app and it was the person I was interviewing. Thank God they had a great connection, very clear. And so to me, that was more important than me sounding good because it was her story that I was sharing. But I'm like, I mean, I just did it because there will always be something. I mean, there will always be a reason to not do something.
Done is better than perfect, right?
Exactly. I mean, the self-doubt that creeps in. I mean, even before I recorded the first episode, I was supposed to do it. Never forget, like it sticks out because I know that I allow fear in that moment to stop me. I was getting ready to do it on a Friday and I just got like, oh my God, are you really doing this, girl? And so, I was like, hey, I need to do it tomorrow because I'm just like, I gotta finish something today. But, and it was after I said that but, you know, I thought about it later and I said, wow, like you can't succumb to that type of fear.
Yeah.
You just have to do it. What's the worst that can happen? Yeah, somebody might not want to listen. And I, you know, and once you sort of realize, I'm like, yeah, this may not be the podcast for everyone. But if I'm just touching like one person with the stories that I'm able to share, and I, you know, and I'm just like the people that I've been able to meet and interview, like just being able to share your stories has just been, it makes it all worth it. You know,
Yeah.
I'm just a platform and just a person, you know, you know, but the stories and the people that I've come into contact with, that's the amazing part.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I've totally been in that place where perfectionism has got the best of me. So that's been a huge part of my journey, which is why I brought it up. And I know that a lot of women do struggle with that. So, you know, I would always put things off and make excuses because it wasn't perfect yet.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it's something you can work on and keep challenging yourself, keep pushing yourself outside of your comfort zone. Because to be honest, while perfection might seem like something that's pretty on the outside, it holds you back from a lot.
Yes, yes, I would agree.
Mm-hmm.
So now I know you are launching, or you have a new program.
I do.
For women that is really exciting. So do you want to go ahead and tell us about the new program?
Yeah, so I have just launched an online course, and it's called The Morning Makeover. This has been such, oh my goodness, I'm so excited about this because I've been working on it for months now. It's been at least 5 months that I've put into this. And the reason that I created The Morning Makeover, which by the way is a self-guided online course, is because I wanted to make what I do within my coaching relationships a lot more tangible for every woman, right? And I wanted to incorporate it into a part of women's lives that we all go through, which is our mornings and how we wake up.
Right.
Now, a huge misconception is that you've got to be a morning person to have a good morning, right? And
right.
I don't particularly believe that, which is why I came up with this course. So the morning makeover is all about revamping your morning, changing your mornings so that you can change your life. And when I say change your life, I mean not just surface level. It's not just about waking up early and doing all the things. It's the impact that doing all those things has on your mindset, and how you carry yourself through your day. And if you're starting your day off on a great foot, you will have a far better day than you would have if you didn't. You'll be far more focused. You'll be more productive. You'll feel happier. You'll feel more energized. And if you're having a good day and you're carrying that forward each and every day, it adds up, right?
Right. Yeah. No, that's great. And I'm glad you said that about the being a morning person. We were talking a little bit about that before we got started. And yeah, because people always assume that if you're someone that is like, you know, ready to go in the morning, like I've never looked at it as like, oh, I'm a morning person, because I don't really know. I would consider myself like a morning all day and night person, because I'm a night owl. I'm up super early in the morning. But I think it's what you said. It's about and being intentional again, to not to like beat that drum, but it's about being intentional about how you are going to approach the day.
Right.
So it's those things, and it's not like somebody may not, I mean, on the inside may want to still be asleep. Like when I get up in the morning, of course I still rather be sleeping, but I've made a promise, you know, to myself that I'm going to get up, I'm going to work out in the morning, I'm going to have my quiet time, you know, with reading and prayer, and, you know, and being able to approach my day a certain way, versus getting up all scattered. Like, I don't even know what that feels like anymore. I haven't, like, you know, I don't hit a snooze button because I'm just like, get up.
Yeah. And I love that you've come up with that for yourself, because the other really important key that I wanted to put across in this course is that you don't have to be doing what every other guru out there is doing to have a successful morning routine. I strongly believe that it's about making it work for you.
Yes.
And finding the things that help you energize yourself first thing in the morning, or get you feeling really great about yourself first thing in the morning. So I talk about that.
Awesome. Now, what type of woman is this program for?
Oh, I feel like so many women are going to be able to relate to this. So this program is specifically for women who firstly know that they want more time for self-care in their routine, but they don't know how to do that. They don't know how to make that time. And maybe they don't even know what self-care really looks like. It's for busy women who feel like they don't have time for themselves. If you're waking up feeling a sense of dread or even a little bit of anxiety or overwhelm first thing in the morning, this is definitely the course for you. If you're reaching for your phone first thing in the morning and starting your day off with everybody else's crap instead of looking inwards and taking care of yourself first, this is for the woman that is chronically hitting that snooze button, because trust me, that there's so much science that I've learned behind what hitting that snooze button actually does to you. And it takes you over 4 hours to get your brain back to a place of normal where it's not still trying to wake up. So you lose a lot of time. Yeah. And it's for the woman who allows work to sort of seep into her early mornings and her late nights, doesn't really have those boundaries in place. For the woman who wants to feel more confident, more happy, more productive, more energized, and all in all, just feeling more content and more calm.
Okay, awesome. I like that. So as far as, an outcome, along with those things you just mentioned, is there a tool or a framework that the course helps women to create for themselves?
Yeah, so the way I've structured this course actually is, as I mentioned, it's self-guided. So what that means is that you can take it at your own pace. And I've structured it so that it's like a slow release. Over a couple of days, you'll get access to a new module. And what we cover in this course is, first of all, establishing what your purpose is. Because when I put a morning routine into place, what I realized was that I can actually use that morning routine to ensure that I'm working on my goals every day, which is a huge thing, because you feel like you're making progress every day. So we kind of establish where you're at and what you really want to get out of this morning routine, and how you can incorporate your goals into it. We talk about the night before. I think a lot of people forget that how you prepare yourself for bed, the importance of sleep and how sleep works. We talk about actually waking up, and the fundamental idea that how you wake up is so much more important than when you wake up. So, if you're worrying a little bit about, I don't want to wake up at 5 a.m, this is not that course. I am not telling you to wake up at 5 a.m. I am explaining to you that how you wake up is so much more important. We also cover the body and the mind. So what you can be doing for your body and your mind first thing in the morning, keeping in mind that these do not have to be they don't have to be time consuming activities. You don't have to have an hour in the morning to start your day off right. You could have half an hour. We also cover your mindset. So Mindset Matters is the name of the module, and we go through some of the blocks and the barriers that you might hit and how to overcome that. And then there's a module on making it stick. So really talking about the science behind habits and how they work. So what I love about this is that you can actually apply it to other areas of your life where you're trying to build good habits and take over bad ones.
Right.
And then finally, I hold your hand through figuring out how to take everything that we've learned and creating or curating your own morning routine so that you're tailor making something that works for you.
Love that. I think that, yeah, that's definitely, that all sounds very, it sounds amazing. I mean, because even as I'm thinking through, there are things that I do already, but there are things where I struggle. I struggle with going to bed at night. I'm always like brain still on, still doing stuff. And then once I come off that, then it's like, oh, now I got to watch TV, because I want to catch up on like TV shows or whatever that I like to watch. And next thing I know, it's already like 12:30. Yeah. And I'm going to be getting up at 6. So, yeah. And that I know
that age-old tale of I need to unwind before bed, right? So let me watch some TV.
Yeah. Just catch up. Let me watch a couple shows or, and so it is like not repeatedly not getting, not really getting enough rest, right? Because I'm always like, well, what would it look like if I went to bed at 10 o'clock? And then I get repulsed by the idea. I'm like, oh my God, I can't go to bed that early.
You know what's so funny is that once you start doing it and you start seeing the benefits of some of these things, right. I'm not kidding you, like you actually look forward to it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Now, I mean, but I agree with that because I like on the times when I'm able I'm able to get in the bed at 10 o'clock. I may not go to sleep, but like at least my mind has started to, come down and I'm just lying there watching something that doesn't require me to think much. And I'm like, oh, I like this getting in the bed at 10, like it doesn't always have to be 12 o'clock or, whatever.
Right.
Awesome. So, well, so how can people find you? So before I want to make sure I want to talk through where people can find you. And then also, what if someone is like, hey, I'm seeing you Shai today. And I was just wondering maybe if can I reach out to you? Can we chat before I start any of the programs? So tell us about that.
So I am mostly on Instagram. So you can find me at compass_coach. Okay. I also have a Facebook group where I interact solely with the people that are in that group and that are interested in learning more. That's called Live As You Dream, and you can find it on Facebook. And then, of course, my website, which is www.compasscoachingltd.co.uk. And yeah, if you're interested in getting in touch with me, I am always open. You can use any 3 of these to get in touch with me. There's a take action button on my website as well. And I always offer a discovery call. And what that is really is an opportunity to just have an open conversation. So if you have questions, you want to learn more, you're still a little bit unsure, there's no obligation when you book in a discovery call. It's entirely free, and I'm here to just hold space for you and figure out exactly what, help you figure out what you need to be able to move forward and make change in your life.
Awesome. Fantastic. So let's move into one of my favorite parts of the show, 5 Things with Shai. So speaking of starting your morning, how do you, Shai, start your day?
So I have a few non-negotiables. It doesn't matter what I have in store for me that day. Sometimes I don't do these things on the weekend, but I often do. So I will always wake up, and as soon as I've brushed my teeth, I am straight onto my yoga mat, because that means that I'm not leaving much room for making excuses for not moving my body. It doesn't matter how I'm feeling, but once I'm on there, I know I'm going to go for at least 20 minutes or more. And so I'll either do a yoga flow or I will do a workout of some sort. And I just discovered this amazing thing called Kurji. And they do these incredible like dance workouts, which is just so much fun. So it's moving my body. And then I will finish that off by doing a 10-minute guided meditation. And then I always make myself a coffee and sit down with my journal. And when I journal, I'm always starting with gratitude. If I don't have time for anything else that day, in terms of journaling, I will also always make sure I'm practicing gratitude first thing in the morning. I also sometimes do affirmations and just really get to grips with what I want to accomplish in the day, and I'll journal on that. So those are my non-negotiables. Sometimes I add things in, sometimes I take some stuff away, just depending on
that's great. That's so important. So what book or books are you currently reading? And I am and I do read books because I know I'm a person, I read more than one book at once. So
I do too. So I'm just about to finish reading Atomic Habits, which is by James Clear. Really, really good book, because it really helps you understand the science behind how you form your habits. And so you can sort of use that and apply it to your life. And then the other one, I'm actually listening to this one, and it's really interesting because it's called The Way of the Superior Man by David, I think he pronounces his name Deida. Deida. And this is a book that was actually written for men. But the reason I'm listening to it is because my partner listened to it, and I'm listening to it to better understand my man.
I like that.
I love pushing myself outside of my comfort zone and learning things outside of just my little, coaching bubble. To grow and learn, and it betters our relationship. So I love that.
I like that. Pretty cool. How do you push through a challenging day?
Oh, I love this one, because usually I would be that person who would, something would turn me off during the day. Something would get in the way, upset me. And I'd be like, ugh, I'll start again tomorrow. Or if it was a Thursday or Friday, tomorrow's a new week, I'll start again. And the rest of the day or the rest of the week would be a write-off. But now I feel like I've given myself the tools to be able to go, hold on a second, you have a choice as to how you want to feel. And so I will do something to take care of myself. I'll take a break, I'll take a bath, or just do something to break that pattern. And then usually it involves a little bit of journaling, where I'm kind of like, okay, what's getting in the way? Let's sort this out and then get on with our day. And it works a treat.
Yeah, no, I like that a lot. So what do you do when someone tells you no? And it can be a personal or a business no. What do you do?
Yeah, I'm glad you said that, because it is different for both. Whereas with personal, and sometimes with clients too, I'll tell you, and you probably know this, when you have a business and you're running a business of your own, you're going to hear no a lot more than you hear yes.
Yes.
but even with friends, like if somebody says no to plans or no to an opportunity or whatever it might be, I've learned to just never assume. Don't ever assume, because people are always going through their own stuff. And whilst you might not understand, you have to be able to understand that it's not personal. So yeah, I love that now when someone says no to me, I'm like, okay, cool. It has nothing to do with me.
Exactly.
I hope you're okay, and I hope that things go well for you. But in a business context, when it comes to opportunities and stuff, persevere.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you got to
take no for an answer.
For sure. And last, how do you end the day?
I always end my day by winding down, sometimes with some like soft music. I love my candles. I love scented candles, and I do things that really get me ready for bed. So you mentioned earlier, sometimes you go to bed and your mind is still racing and you're still brainstorming. Sleep with a notebook by your bed. I do agree.
Yes. and the phone's good for that too.
Yeah.
But I do have, I'm a notebook. I am a journaler, so I do always have like a notebook by the bed.
I'm practicing no longer sleeping with my phone in my room. I tend not to use my phone for at least half an hour before I go to bed, which is really, really good. Also, screen time is really terrible for sleep. So if you can, cut out your screen time before bed. So I do that now, and I'm trying to now not sleep with my phone in my bedroom.
That's a very smart. Look at these nuggets, everyone, that Shai's dropping. I do try to put mine down and turn it. I like turn it over. So, and it's so funny the things, you would still be answering. If like every morning, like whenever I get to my phone and I'm looking, I'm like, oh, wow, that came in maybe 15 minutes after like I put my phone down. And I'm like, wow, I would have still probably been having a conversation instead of just sort of like decompressing, just getting ready to go to sleep. So no, that was real. I love that. Thank you. Those were such great answers. And I think it definitely is a testament to what you teach. You're definitely practicing everything that you are teaching and teaching to your clients and to everyone out there.
100%. You have to, you've got to practice what you preach, right?
Exactly, sister. So, well, Shai, this was great. And I am so glad that you were able to join me today. And everyone, please, please, please go and find her on Instagram, Facebook, and visit her website. And please take the first step, even if it's just, a discovery call today. But do take that first step just to explore the possibility of just becoming a more fulfilled version of yourself and living a more fulfilled life. So, Shai, thank you. You are always welcome to come back and see me anytime.
Thank you so much for having me, Kyra.
Awesome. Take care, and everybody stay tuned. I'll be right back.